What's up, DGens? Here we are, week 4 coming up, about to start tonight. It has been a crazy 3 weeks. It's gone by super fast, just like always. I feel like every summer I'm always like, man, I can't wait for football to get here. I can't wait for it to get here, taking beach trips and doing research at the same time and like dying for football. And then it gets here and you turn around and you're like a quarter of the way through, then you're halfway through, and before you know it, we're at the damn Super Bowl and we got to wait all over again. Well, it is what it is. I can't fix that. But what I can do is give you some picks here. Week 4 of the season is when we start going into my algorithm, which is coaching grades, right? So just to give you a little rundown on what's in there, it's primarily EPA offensively and defensively, a Z-score, which is using their averages. There's also pass attempts, first downs, without third down, so bypassing third downs basically. A couple other things. If you've been with the channel for a little bit, you've seen it before. At this point, I'm just kind of making it cleaner, prettier. Instead of having you look at a bunch of numbers on a spreadsheet, I'm going to just give you what the outcomes are or the expectations are. Now, in saying that, what you're looking at here, what you're going to see for half the games in this video is going to be the expected scores per my algorithm. In the first 3 weeks, I just want to touch on this real quick. I did give you guys the Madden algorithm, even going back into the summertime. And if you go back and you look at those videos, that Madden algorithm did absolutely outstanding. I think it had like 2 losses, if that. It was something like 7-2 going through these first 3 weeks. And so if you haven't been with us in the past, it's your first time visiting the channel, that Madden algorithm is what we use for weeks 1 through 3. I've used it for about the last 5 years or so, and we just kind of massaged it, fixed it, kind of kept tinkering with the numbers a little bit. And this is an amazing year. I expect it to get even better as we move forward. But now that we know what works, what doesn't, what goes into it, what shouldn't go into it, it's been really, really great. So fully expect for that to be back next year. But just wanted to touch on how great that was. The other stuff that I did on top of the Madden algorithm didn't always work, but the algo itself was great. And so let's start into this week and see what we can put together here. So number 1, we do have Seahawks-Cardinals, which is the Thursday night game. Isn't an absolutely must-play for me, but I know a lot of people out there are going to be dying to get something down on this Thursday night game. The expectation is the Seahawks 27, Cardinals 24, with the Seahawks, of course, winning and covering against the -2 spread right now. The over on the 43.5. Aside from the algorithm, if anybody has watched the Cardinals out there, they really haven't looked great. They've won some games, obviously, against really weak opponents in the Panthers and the Saints. They look kind of mediocre at best against the 49ers. If anything, their defense looked, good, but I will say that was against a pretty heavily depleted 49ers team, and they probably should have really given up more points. It's just the 49ers couldn't close the deal on a couple occasions. So the Cardinals just have not sold me on any level. The Seahawks, on the other hand, also played the 49ers. They played a healthy 49ers team. They also lost to the 49ers, but that was just a much better looking team, and they have won, obviously, since then. The Seahawks defense has looked great. Sam Darnold has not had the regression that we were expecting. So in this game, give me the Seahawks -2 if you're going to take anything. Again, not an absolute must-play for me, but if you want to get down on it, that would be the angle I'm looking at. Also, the over. The only concern I have with that is that the Seahawks defense is pretty good. So I would not be surprised if they shut down the Cardinals and Cardinals end up scoring less than expected. But could also be, one of these blowout games where they're up 20-0 by halftime and kind of just let them do what they're going to do. So if I had to take the over, I would, but it'd be over and then the Seahawks -2. Vikings-Steelers is the next game. This is going to be international game, early Sunday morning if you want to wake up early to catch this. Expected score, Vikings 24, Steelers 21, with the Vikings, of course, winning and then covering the 2.5 point spread as well. And then the over 41. Now, in this game, I will say, again, another one I'm not absolutely dying to get my money on. These international games tend to be a little wonky. Vikings should have the better team, at least on paper, but they are playing with Carson Wentz. If you didn't already know this, like theory or thought process or whatever you want to call it, a good team with a backup quarterback, the first game is usually really good. The rest of the team kind of steps up. The coaching even steps up. They've changed kind of the play calling, and the opponent doesn't really have a lot of tape on you just yet. So it kind of works out. A lot of times we see if it's an already good team playing with a backup quarterback, they tend to do pretty well that first game. Think about it. Last week, we saw Carson Wentz do good. We also saw Marcus Mariota do good. Both of those teams have solid coaching staffs, or they've proven to be, solid teams. Even though those backups have shown us before, they are not great players. So that's my only concern, is that the Vikings regress a little bit here, just with Carson Wentz, coming in his second game, having a reduced week, an odd kind of schedule with the travel. But again, per the algorithm, which doesn't get to take any of that stuff into account, it does have the Vikings winning here. Like I said, I really wouldn't touch this one. If you wanted to do something with this, I would probably take the over, only because the Steelers' defense is it's been terrible. I would expect the Vikings to run all over this Pittsburgh defense. And conversely, once they're down, or once they're kind of out of it, I should say, I think the Steelers are still going to probably be running the ball, and the Vikings have had some hard times stopping the run against the other opponents. So possibly the over here, with it getting just a little over that key number of 41. Commanders, Falcons, again, the other team here that we saw with the backup last week coming in, going to play the Falcons. This is assuming that Mariota is playing. Right now we have Commanders 17, Falcons 20. Again, just kind of expecting a little bit of a regression from that Commanders team, just due to the quarterback play, and just kind of taking a step back in this second game. Now, we'll tell you a few things, again, just going off the eyeball test here. The Falcons' defense has actually been pretty good. I know that they got blanked last week. It was 30-0. If anybody actually goes back to watch that game, the Panthers did not look amazing. They didn't do a bunch of really cool, nice stuff to get the 30 points. It just seemed like the Falcons, they put themselves in a hole, and then they just kind of kept digging that hole. It was like 10-0 at halftime. It was still like within range. Penix had just had a kind of a tough game, thrown an interception. They've had some fumbling issues. And then after that, when Penix actually tries to throw a check down, they take it back. It's a pick six. Now they're down 17-0. Now they're moving the ball again. They get back to the other side of the field. They're having a good drive, and they go for it again on fourth down instead of taking the field goal. And of course they don't get it. So now they're down again. They give the Panthers good field position. It was just like, it started off small, and again, it seemed like, okay, this could, at some point they're going to turn it around here. Something's going to happen. The Falcons are going to get stuff to break their way. And it just never did, and it just kept compounding and compounding and compounding. But again, if you go back and watch that game, it's just a bad game. Everything went against them. I would kind of wipe it off the slate. I don't think that's going to define this Falcons team. I do give them the win this week. So the Falcons with the win, the Falcons +1 on the spread, and then the under 45. Surprisingly enough, both these defenses have actually been relatively solid. The Falcons have actually held 2 out of the 3 opponents under the total, and the only one that went over was the Panthers. And again, a lot of that was just kind of, for lack of better words, a lucky breaks, where they threw a pick six, they fumbled, they gave them really good field position, they're starting from the 50, stuff like that that's not really repeatable, or at least shouldn't be. So I would like to be on the under here if you're going to be on anything. Again, I'll let you know when there's a certain play. There's really only one play in here on this particular set of games that I'm going to be all over, but we'll get there in just a second. Chargers Giants. Now, this is one that I would like to tease. I've been kind of tinkering around with the idea. I have not found what I want to tease it with just yet. But getting the Chargers down to a pick'em or Chargers down to a -0.5 is really where I would like to go. The expected score here is 35-14. If I wanted to take the Chargers -6, I wouldn't hate it. If you wanted to do it, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't stop you from doing it. My only concern is that this is, again, another game where the Chargers could be up huge by halftime, by third quarter, and you just have this Giants backdoor, especially with the rookie quarterback. You could see them, trying to get him some extra playing time, some other reps. So, hey, throw it down the field, chunk it, let's just see what happens. And he ends up getting a couple extra points that maybe they shouldn't have, where the Chargers are just allowing them to kind of milk the clock. So I don't mind it, but it's not my favorite play. Like I said, if anything, I would like to tease it. Give me the Chargers down to just a pick 'em. Either way, though, the Chargers obviously get the win. The expectation is the Chargers get the cover at the -6, and then the over 43.5 points. The over is a sneaky way to look here, because I think a lot of people, the Chargers defense is really good, and so you have a lot of people taking the unders. If anything, you may want to go Giants team total under. But even at that, again, I could see a couple scenarios here where we have the Chargers just completely take their foot off the gas, or maybe they're playing the B team for the whole fourth quarter, and the Giants get some like points that don't really matter at the end of this game. Now, this is the one that I will be betting on. This is the one that has my money. This is probably one of the easiest ones that you're going to find out there. Unfortunately, it's probably a little late. I have taken this one. I took it Monday morning when the number was much different. Titans-Texans, expected score, Titans 14, Texans 20. So, a few things here. Texans for the win if you wanted to play it, on the money line, or if you wanted to tease it, down to just Texans -1. Titans on the spread, though, Titans +7. And then the under 38 is the play right now. Now, I will tell you, I took this number, like I said, and Monday morning it was 39.5. So that number has come way down since then, especially since 41 is a key number. The next key number is 37. I'm not going to say it's definitely going to get there, but I also would not be surprised if it does get down to 37. Now, how do we want to play this? Number one, I'm still on the under. Even at 38, I'd still take the under. However, my favorite play is actually the Texans under 23.5. DeMeco Ryans does not like to run up the score. He is one of these coaches that will completely stop the offense and just sit on a lead and play run, and defense. And that's totally fine. Well, what I don't like is not being able to know what a coach is doing, and we know exactly what this coach wants to do. So even if he gets up, 13-0, he's going to start trying to milk this game. I don't expect them to go over 20. I mean, really, I would not be surprised if they don't even get to 17. Here's a couple things. Number one, Texans' offensive line is absolutely terrible. It's bottom 3 in the league. The Titans should get Devondre Sweat for this game with Jeffrey Simmons. They're going to cause some issues for that Texans offense, whether it's getting to C.J. Stroud or stopping the run, whatever it may be. So they're not a whole lot of scoring to be had in this game. Nico Collins is also playing through some sort of injury. The secondary for the Titans has actually been relatively decent. I know they let the Colts put up a big number, but that was not like an early part of the game. It wasn't like they were just getting blown out the whole thing. This is more later towards the end of the game where stuff was already kind of done and they just let them do what they're going to do. This Texans team, again, they're not going to run up the score. At least the coach doesn't like to run up the score. They're not a heavy passing team as it is. They like to run when they are allowed to run, when the game script allows them to do that. And they're not really one for taking too many deep shots. Maybe they take one, maybe they take two. But even if they get to 14 points or if they have a 10-point lead at any point, I fully expect them to take their foot off the gas in this one. The Titans, on the other hand, they're obviously struggling. They're going to try to keep pace with this team. I actually think that they have a decent shot to do exactly that. In these low-scoring games, there's a lot of variables. A field goal goes this way, a fumble goes that way, and totally switches the game. So I like them to cover the spread, because I think even if the Texans win this game, this is going to be like a 14-10 type of game. This is going to be, I would not be surprised if it's all field goals. There's not too many games where I would bet on no touchdown, but this is probably one of them. So Texans under 23.5. The Titans team total is just a little too low for me. It's at 15.5. And if they get like a pick six or something, that could totally just ruin that. So give me the Texans under 23.5 as my favorite play for this one. The overall total under is another one. The Titans +7. I don't love it as much just because something could happen. It's a little iffy. If you wanted to tease it, I would tease this game. And honestly, the technical way to do this would be to tease the Texans down to the -1. But I don't hate teasing it either way, because either way, what you're saying is the Texans are going to either win but not win by margin, or that the Texans are going to win but definitely not win by margin, because they're not going to win by more than a touchdown. So either way, we're kind of expecting the same thing. Either the Texans win but just barely, or the Titans pull off the upset because the Texans can't take advantage of it. So this is my favorite game for this early morning slate, the first half of the games that we're going over. Take note of it. And again, I would not be surprised if this number does go down to 37. Lastly, for the first 8 games here is the Eagles-Bucks. This one is almost a complete stay away for me. If I had to, I would really take the Eagles on this side, but the expectation, or at least the algorithm here, has the Eagles winning 24-21, with the Bucks covering the 3.5 that's currently out there, and then the over 44. But if you'll notice, the algorithm has it Eagles -3 basically, and the spread is 3.5. So you're cutting it really razor thin there. And the over, or the total, is 44. Expectation is for 45 points. So again, your razor thin margins here. Who knows? The score could be totally different, obviously, but this Tampa Bay team just has a lot of injuries. They're not coming in healthy. I do believe the Eagles probably have this game circled. This is the last time that they lost, or that Jalen Hurts lost while he was playing, healthy, was against this Buccaneers team. I believe they actually have this game in their minds. They want to make sure that they beat this Bucs team pretty soundly. I also think that the Bucs are coming in, like I said, not just with wide receiver injuries, but they're having injuries kind of all across the board at this point. Yes, they're going to get Wirfs back, but with Ibuka having some injuries, with Mike Evans being out, with Chris Godwin still coming back from an ankle injury, I would have to take the Eagles in this case. Now, it's possible, obviously, Bowles knows how to play against this Eagles team, and it is possible he just blitzes the hell out of Hurts. He shuts down the run, and they get into this defensive battle. So maybe the 3.5 or the 3 in the hook is worth it. I can't pull the trigger on that one, so that's kind of where the expectation is at right now. Whether or not you want to do something with it is up to you. So again, only one play for right now, and that is going to be the Texans team total under 23.5. I take that back 2 plays, the under 38 as well for that game. And that's it, guys. I will be back tomorrow with the other half of these games. Thank you again for paying attention, for logging back in. Y'all have a great day, and I will speak with y'all soon.